Men that don't have mothers want mothers. Men that have like a good family,
or men who had mothers, but the mother was emotionally absent and gave no nurturing, want mothers.
Yes, definitely. I think they want mothers in general.
They want mothers. Honestly, I'll tell you something. Men want mothers. Yeah. They generally do. Because I coach men too. And what I've learned from them is it's always about, I want her to be nurturing. It's just because they can't nurture themselves. Yeah. That's why you want another woman to take on.
Man, what are we talking about? Oh, fellas, do not take dating advice from modern women like these. Now, there's some amazing women. This will never be a channel where, all women this, all women that, because, I know from experience there's some horrible women out there and some amazing ones, just like you could say the same for men. But I'm so sick of the narrative where, men just want to be pampered and nurtured. They just want mothers. What kind of logic is that? So flip the script and I could tell you, you just want fathers. You just want to be infantilized. You want someone to pay all your bills. You want someone to make sure they provide and protect for you. We can go on and on. When there's, and your tires need to be replaced, stuff around the house that need to be fixed, blah, blah, blah. We can always, looks like you just want a father. Like, what is so wrong for a man to come home from work and want to be taken care of? Hey, honey, I made you dinner. Instead of looking at like, wow, I get to, take care of this man who's, taking care of me as a man should. It's wow. You have mommy issues much? Like such low IQ here. It's insane. Let's continue.
That emotional labor. Process your emotions. Work.
Sorry, that's another thing. They just make up buzzwords. Emotional labor. You're just lazy. You just want to coast on by, get, shop X amount of dollars for whatever, handbags, whatever, and just exist. Like, I just want to, the emotional labor. Man, this is already making my brain hurt, and we're just getting started, fellas.
Through your messy emotions and stop making somebody else your emotional punching bag.
Exactly.
Because that's what they like to do. A lot of them don't want to access their emotions, but they want to project them onto the woman. The amount of times I've dated someone that was so emotionally dysregulated as a man.
Translation, wouldn't listen to my every command. Whenever they start throwing a bunch of word salads, stuff like that, all they're trying to say is, I couldn't control you. You didn't listen to me. But go on, Queen.
And instead of just kind of working through his emotions, he would then project it onto me. And I'd literally just sit there and be like, are you finished with your little tantrum?
That's probably the other way around.
I'm not dealing with that.
Literally.
And like it's things that they can't give to themselves. I feel like they try and get from women.
So we just wasted a whole minute of them absolutely saying nothing. A lot of times they don't know what they want. They just be spewing out anything to basically say it's the men's fault. And apparently wanting to be taken care of by your significant other is now mommy issues. Yeah, all right, moving on.
Oh, he's too old for you. He's too old for you. God forbid a girl take care of the elderly. I have done a lot of therapy, but sometimes it takes a random man in the Costco parking lot to...
I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know what this obsession is with therapy. Every time you turn on a video, it's like, they always bragging about therapy. I mean, is this a hobby? We often hear that, women don't have a lot of hobbies. This might be it. Like, is therapy actually helping? I'm not even trying to, troll or be rude or anything. What is this obsession with therapy? Yet, on way more antidepressants than ever before, and somehow therapy is the answer. It's as if it's guaranteed to, heal whatever issues you're going on. But anyway, let's let her continue.
Really wake you up. It was a random Sunday. I was doing my normal weekly Costco run, and when I was loading my groceries, a man walked up to me and said, "Sweetie, where is your husband?" And I just kind of laughed it off, and I was like, oh, he's just at home. And then he looked at me dead in the eye and said a sentence that has fundamentally changed who I am as a person. He just looked at me, a little bit of sadness in his eyes, and he said, "You shouldn't have to do this alone." When he said that sentence, something in me actually shifted. Like, I immediately got defensive. And I'm a big girl. I do this every single week by myself. I'm good. Have a good day. I finished loading my groceries. I returned my cart. And the second I got into my car, I immediately broke down.
You know what's funny here is we've seen countless videos saying where are the real men at? Like, say there's a woman carrying furniture or something that needs to be, the TV mounted, the tire replaced, whatever. Men aren't men anymore. They want you, if there's someone possibly in danger, they just want some random man to come out of nowhere and put their life on the line. Like, no matter what the case is, oh wow, we got a bunch of soft, weak men, which to a certain extent, I actually agree. They'll complain about men aren't here to help me, blah blah blah. But in this case, we actually have a guy, and maybe she had some heavy groceries. Men are able to lift a lot more than women, so he didn't mean no harm by it. But of course, she took offense to it. So it's a lose-lose, man. Like, they'll complain when you're not helping them, and then when you offer or say, "Hey, where's your man to help?" Because I know this man would have said, if she asked, he would have helped her. I know that for a fact. But if you do offer, they would have said, "Wow, mahogany much?" Can't say the word because of YouTube. You think women can't do this by themselves? You know what I mean? Like, it's a lose-lose. If you try to help them, where the real men at? If you do help them, or if you do try to help them, you're mahogany, if you guys know what word I'm trying to use. So, anyways, it's a lose-lose. You just want to complain just to complain.
This is going to offend a lot of people, but I feel like people in New York City, especially women, are super delusional.
That's everywhere.
Like, I'll talk to someone and we'll be talking about like, oh, like, what's your type? What are you looking for in a guy? And the stuff I hear, I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Us too.
It's like, oh, the guy needs to be 6 foot plus. He needs to be in shape. He needs to have a good job. And I don't mean like, oh, $100,000 good job. In New York, good job minimum is like, you need to make $300,000 plus. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've heard women saying to me that they need a man who makes $500,000 minimum, which is totally fine, but combined with everything else. Oh, and then they also want, wealthy family, generational wealth.
Insane.
They obviously need to be a nice guy. They need to like them, be funny, whatever. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on.
And what's funny is, as a man, you can have, man or women, you can have your standards. But God forbid a man goes, okay, well, I want a woman with a low body count, and I want someone who can cook and just be respectful and nurturing. Oh, wow. This guy's insane. Yeah, you want a mommy. You get shamed and, gaslit until you thinking that, maybe you're being unreasonable or whatever. It's so crazy. In 2026, man, more than ever, a man cannot have standards without getting shamed. But it's perfectly okay to have this, Chinese scroll of, laundry list of, oh, I want this and that and whatever. And you'll just get met with, as a woman, wow, your worth, queen. But then other way around, oh, mahogany. If a man just has a few requirements or standards, but
it's like blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what are you going on about? And you know what? Like, power to everyone to have their own preferences and wants and needs and whatever. But it is a little delusional. Come on.
Absolutely.
Am I the only one that thinks it's kind of delusional?
Nope. So do us
and
men.
And this applies for the men too. It's just that I end up having these conversations more often with women since I'm a girl. But the stuff I hear, I'm just like, the guy that you just described is kind of a unicorn.
And the sad thing is, they would rather hold on to that 0.0000001% chance of getting that man until their 50s or 60s, than quote unquote settle for someone who's actually on their level or even, above. And they'll just be here 20 years from now. Where are the real men at? No men approach me, blah, blah, blah. So, whatever, man.
But I think social media has just totally polluted our brains into thinking that these men are just like everywhere for some reason.
Absolutely.
And on the off chance that you find a guy who fits all this criteria, which in itself is already super low.
Yep.
What are the odds that he actually likes you back? And this is not at all to put the girlies down, but it's just like, can we be realistic for a second here?
And another thing I want to say, it's actually unfortunate, but even if that, like I said, that 0.00001 percent chance that they get that man, eventually they just treat him like a regular dude. Like, you can think of celebrities, no offense, I think he's the greatest shooter ever. I mean, greatest player basketball is Michael Jordan, and then Kobe. I said what I said. but the greatest shooter ever, Steph Curry. And you saw what his wife has said over the years and done. Like there was a show, I don't know, The View, something, whatever. She was sitting there, and some dude came out shirtless, and she was like insinuating, like making a joke. That she was taking off her ring, please. You would have been divorced that night. I wish I would be the greatest. And he's a good dude. He ain't out there cheating, whatever. And we're gonna go act like you're taking the ring off. Oh, that's fine. Well, you can act like that, but you're gonna permanently do that when you see these papers, please. You know, so even if they get that woman, I'm sorry, even if they get that man that they really want, they'll eventually treat you like, you know, you're just the average Joe. They won't really, you know, not everyone. Again, there's some amazing women. This is not going to be that, oh, you know, hate all men, hate all women type of channel, that gender war. It's just to bring awareness of, you know, the delusion and double standards that we have in our society. But yeah, I'm gonna let her finish. I just find that funny. They get the man that they want, and then eventually, you know, you're just, you know, some Joe Schmo off the street, even though you actually are that 0.00001% dude. Crazy.
Men are not stupid. They're going to want the female equivalent of themselves.
Yep.
So unless you're also a unicorn yourself, you're probably not going to end up dating a guy like this. And honestly, I say this with like all love, but it's just sometimes the stuff I hear is actually just redonkulous. I'm like, girl, let's be real for a second here.
And you know, a lot of times, especially with the access of social media, a lot of women will think because they were able to, you know, sleep with a man of, you know, higher caliber, like a celebrity, athlete, whatever, they'll think that they are now entitled to those type of relationships. Like, yeah, it's easy to, you know, get your cheeks clapped if you're a woman, but to get a relationship is a completely different thing. And like I said, because of social media, we're having a lot of these, you know, delusional expectations out of nowhere.
And at the ripe age of 28, I've honestly accepted that there's a high chance that I'm never married. I never get to have kids with a husband. I will never go on vacation with a man again.
No, I wouldn't say that. At 28, you still have, you know, some time to lock down, you know, a husband, but it's time to lock in. That's for sure. And at least she's coming to this. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. At least she's coming to a realization at 28 and not 48, because then it's like, well, you know, because just like you want a man, most women want men, you know, to have X amount of income, be in shape, whatever. Men can have that too. And a lot of times women will waste their youth, again, not all, but will waste their youth and their best years into a man's eyes, you know, being fertile and, you know, beauty wise, everything. And, you know, just, you know, bounce around from different Chads and Tyrones to the next one. And then come to this realization at 45 years old, but just, you know, do the Kanye West shrug. Where are the real men at? They were in your friend zone for the last 2 or 3 decades. So anyways, I'll let her finish, but at least she's realizing this now before it's really too late.
Because y'all are just having so much fun swiping on Hinge and Bumble and whatever else is out there.
Actually, I'm gonna have to correct you. No, it's only like the top 10 or 20% dudes. The average man is getting 0 out of 1,000 swipes back. So, and that's the thing. When they say this, they don't even the chat. You know, the average Joes are invisible when they're saying stuff like this. They're just thinking about the chads that they mess with, all the access that they have to different groups of women. But you know, the handyman, the plumber, whatever, the people who actually do the hard labor construction, who actually build society, they don't really get a lot of respect, and it's very unfortunate as men. But that's not true. A lot of men actually do not get hardly any swipes whatsoever, but they don't even realize that.
Like, do men wake up after the age of even like 33 and say, you know, I really want to like commit and build a life with a woman one day? Or is it all just like way too much fun for you to just be single and lustful and gross?
Here's the thing. We don't have a biological clock like you do. So that is the main reason why we don't have like this sudden like realization. Dang it, I'm 30. I gotta hurry up. I gotta lock in. Like we can be in our 40s, 50s, and still, get women in 20s and 30s. So that's why it's best, as a woman, if you really want to sit down and plan, like, what do I want out of my life? You have no one else to blame, man or women. You have no one else to blame but yourself, whatever you become out of life. Yes, there's some bad circumstances that affect us all, but, for the most part, you need to choose, okay, do I want to have 3 kids? Do I want to, be married to someone who's not a loser? You know what I mean? You don't want to just be carefree in life, just like, oh, I'll do this tomorrow. Maybe I'll just go to Spain with my girls for the summer, and then, do that till you're like 30, 32. Where the real men at? You start panicking and freaking out. So at least she, like I said, I think she says she's 28. At least she came to that realization early.
I can't tell if it's men, the beauty standard, or both.
Oh, no. All right, here's the thing. I'm so sick and tired of the beauty standard. The beauty standard is not society and or men. To be honest with you, it's women. Men are not going up and saying, dang, you see them Louboutin heels she got? Those are fire, dude. Do you see that Gucci bag? Yeah, I got to lock in right now. Hold up. Is that a Chanel jacket? Whoa. You know what I mean? Dang, did she just get that fresh Botox? I can keep going on and on. Men aren't doing that. So to simply say, oh, the beauty standard, no, okay? Men are very simple, and that's why it's age, father time, as they say, and age affects us all, men and women. But you women look their best in their prime in their 20s. I want to say, what is it, like 21 to 24, 25, something like that. And then slowly, you don't just wake up and look like babushka out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It's slowly, once you're 24, 25, you don't even notice. And then out of nowhere, you're like, whoa, what happened to me? And so we're not going to just say, oh, the beauty standard that men put on. Absolutely not. That's why older women, women in general wear makeup, but mainly older women wear makeup to be, appeal more attractive and younger. You don't see a lot of women. Again, women in their 20s will do it to, if they're going out or whatever, but they're not doing it to look younger. So if you really want to lock in this man that you're looking for, do it in your prime years. But no guy is like, dang, did she get them fresh lip fillers? That's it. Time to get them digits, chat. You know what I mean?
That have changed in the past 10 years or so. But I swear to God, I'm like, I don't know if it's because I don't get lip filler and stuff like that. No shade if you do, nothing against it. I work at a Botox company.
No, we don't care for that.
But I do feel like men have come to expect almost subtle work done. They don't realize it, I don't think, but that's kind of become the standard, and I feel like I'm feeling the backlash of that.
You're 10 years older.
Either that or also just my looks are out of vogue. I don't know.
No.
But
older.
Just want to see if anyone else is having that experience. Or maybe the men are just never gonna approach women again. I don't know.
No. See, here's the thing. A lot of women have the solipsistic mindset where if whatever's happening in my reality or my world, then that is what's going on in everyone else's, for the most part. She was not complaining, guarantee you, about this, 10 years ago. And like I said earlier, it's, how God made us. That's as time goes on, we're going to age. And so you want to lock down the man. You come to this realization when you're out of your prime. And, she's not a bad looking woman at all. But I'm saying the men that she is looking for, they are not looking to her as their first option. And even 10 years later from today, it's only going to be, worse with, on the TikTok videos. Why am I invisible to men? Why don't men approach me? It's like, men are, for the most part, they're attracted to women in their prime, just like women. And there's nothing wrong with that. There shouldn't be any shame about men wanting to be with, someone. Obviously, not looks are not everything. You want a woman with character who's going to respect you, like, cook for you, whatever. And men need to be providing, taking care of their women, treating them like queens, if they deserve to. Like I said, this is not no hate all men, hate all women. Like, again, just exposing double standards. And I'm tired of the fact that everything good or everything bad in life is always the men's fault. I'm so sick of that narrative. But anyways, and then just like I said, men want, someone who's beautiful to look at with great characteristics and qualities as well internally. Women want men who can provide, protect, make XX amount of money, whatever, look 6 feet, whatever it is, which is fine. But you can't have these same standards at 21, 31, 41, 51, 61. Like, eventually you have to come to the realization, like, dang, I think I wasted my time. Now I'm going to have to literally lower my standards and expectations even more than I should have before unless I want to end up alone. So very sad she's feeling this way, but I want to say that at a certain point, I don't know what it is. Every person's different, but women become invisible, like relationship wise, naturally speaking. I'm not talking about Botox, plastic surgery, none of that stuff. In their later years in life, whether that's in their 40s, whether that's in their 50s, they start getting treated how most average men get treated all their life. Like a woman who's 55 compared to that same woman when she was 25, they're two different people. Men are approaching that 25-year-old way more, obviously if she, in shape, take care of herself, whatever, eating right, than when she's 55. So she's like on the right track, but she's lost. She's just out here just confused now that she wants to lock in and settle down when, those guys that want her were only in her friend zones then. We're gonna finish off this video with this last clip. I really like this lawyer a lot. I'm not sure his name, but he always makes excellent points.
Real men don't care if we have incredibly toxic beliefs. Flip the gender on that. If I was like, listen, a real woman who's like secure in her femininity does not care if I'm wildly misogynistic and hate.
And that's pretty much the point of this channel. Like, just to point out the double standards and the stupid, like, low IQ garbage babble that just comes out of their mouth. All you have to do is flip the script, and then you'll sound like an idiot as a man. But no matter what, a lot of modern women on TikTok will say today, it's like, wow, queen, so insightful. You go. You know what I mean?
Okay, like she is so secure in her feminine that she is not threatened by the fact that I believe women are utterly inferior. Like, she is not threatened by that. Like, is anybody going to watch that and go, oh, okay, all right, exactly. Good, yeah. Because when he was saying the other day that he thought all women should be enslaved and not allowed to vote, that did make me feel a little worried, but I guess that was my own insecurity. Like, exactly. So I guess what she is saying is that me hearing wildly misandrist things that are terribly sexist and gendered in ways that don't make sense and that are, demonstrate a abject hatred towards men and the masculine, that if I'm uncomfortable with that, it means I'm insecure in some fashion.
And that's pretty much, again, the point of these my videos is I'm so sick and tired of, you can say whatever you want as a woman today, literally go on TikTok, and if it's especially regarding towards men, oh man, the more demonized the better. You'll get monetized. Yeah, we don't need men. The just utter hate and disrespectful. Enough is enough, man. Men are waking up, and again, not all women are like that. So just make sure you spend a lot of time weeding out those, demons. You don't need those in your life, man. So, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section, please. Definitely appreciate you taking the time to listen to this video, whether you agree, disagree. Always appreciate the feedback. And thanks for tuning in to Into the Gray, where not everything is black and white, and slowly we will uncover as we will continue to point out the double standards, and we can hopefully restore balance. So we can hopefully continue to point out the double standards and, maybe restore balance. But, who knows? Hold the line, fellas. Take care.